Good morning, church. I just want to share a testimony with you today. We've been hearing in a sermon series about restoration, and as each week has gone on, I've been thinking about it a lot, and words that have been running through my mind have been things that I kind of think of with restoration, like being recharged or refreshed or rested or refueled. And I thought about how often I don't feel those things. There's so many times, especially if I could look back at the past 9 to 12 months of my life, probably more than any other time in my whole life. I have very often not been in that state. And it can be really discouraging when you think, I'm feeling tired again, or I'm feeling discouraged again, I'm feeling faithless again. And this week we had a chance to go to the beach, and I was sitting in a rare moment of quiet. Chad had taken the kids down for a walk along the beach, and I was just sitting in a chair holding Chloe, who was sleeping, and I was watching the waves. And this realization came over me in a fresh way. I just started crying because I was looking at the waves coming up, the ebb and flow of the waves. And it struck me how that is so much like our life. That we have a time when we're depleted, and then God rolls his mercy, his grace, and his love to us again. And then we have a time when we're feeling discouraged, and then his mercy comes. That's that ebb and flow of God's grace in our lives. And I thought about that verse from Lamentations that I've often turned to. But the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And it reminded me that I don't need to be discouraged when I am feeling tired again or disappointed again, but to just think, you know what? This is like the manna in the wilderness. Every day I'm going to be hungry, and yet God will give me manna for this day. And I look and see how God has restored me in 1,000 ways in the past year, in the past 6 months. In 1,000 ways, he's refreshed me. And it doesn't mean that I'm never hungry again, but it's refreshed me for that day. He's refreshed me through people that have come by the house with a meal. He's refreshed me through a text message that I get from someone that reminds me of God's faithfulness. He's refreshed me through someone that's come by my house to unexpectedly clean it up when I felt overwhelmed, through words of my children that he's refreshed me with, and it's day by day. He doesn't promise that we're going to be refueled and recharged and then never be tired again, but he says he will give us manna for that day. And I just heard a message this week, and somebody said that anxiety is imagining a future without God's love and God's grace. But rest and peace is imagining a future and a tomorrow where God's love and God's grace will be sufficient. And that really struck me, because that's what I can have for today. I can look out and I can say, today I'm with God's church family, and God's giving me his love and his grace today. And I don't have to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow I may be tired. There could be things that are discouraging, but God's love and God's grace are going to be there in that day. So I just wanted to share that. I hope you have a chance maybe to go to the beach and see those waves and be reminded that as often as they roll out, God's love is going to roll back in, and he's going to feed your soul. Thank you.